there, my name's Alana, and you could say I have a little bit of an obsession with Charlotte Tilbury. So when I saw that Charlotte released 3 new shades in the Eyes to Mesmerize collection, and that one of them was Exagger-eyes, I couldn't say no. Some background if you're not familiar with my channel, the Eyes to Mesmerize quad is one of my absolute favorite Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadow quads. It is one of my favorite quads for every day. I think it is so beautiful. I'm obsessed, and I love Exagger-eyes. So when I saw that she launched the Eyes to Mesmerize, which is a formula I love in Exagger-eyes, I knew I had to get my hands on it. So in today's video, we are going to be putting the eyeshadow on, which, spoiler alert, I'm wearing right now. And I'm gonna share my thoughts with you, and I'm also gonna share some comparison swatches, both with the quad and also with some other shades in the Eyes to Mesmerize universe. So without any further ado, let's dive in. Okay, I'm so excited. Let's apply this eyeshadow. Again, this is the Eyes to Mesmerize. I'm going in with my Rephr 27 brush. Normally I would use my fingers on a cream shadow from Charlotte, but I recently had my nails done and I'm trying to grow them out and they're just a little long. Okay, so what I like to do typically with a cream shadow is I paint it all over my lid, and then I take a more of a dome shaped brush and I just kind of buff it in. Now my eyelids are bare other than Eyes to Mesmerize. There we go. I feel like it does brighten up my eye. I think it's really nice. Now I wanted to get right in there because the last Eyes to Mesmerize that Charlotte released was her matte ones, and those were awful. You can read. It's not a blog anymore. You can hear all about it. I'm going to leave it linked down below, but that was one of Charlotte's worst releases. They were really tough to blend. So I'm happy to report that these are her usual formula. I would even argue maybe even moussier and softer than her usual formula. Oh wow, now that I'm looking really close with the mirror, that sparkle, look at that. It's so pretty. It's like a wash. Oh my gosh, okay. Okay, this is very pretty. So let's add some mascara and eyeliner and I'll show you the completed look. Okay, so we have the eyeshadow on my eyes, and I should come as a surprise to nobody. I have opinions. So first up, I'm gonna say the shimmer and sparkle is probably the shimmeriest, sparkliest Eyes to Mesmerize I've ever seen. Typically, I find that the Eyes to Mesmerize formula is more of a color that has shimmer. This really just feels like shimmer, suspended in the tiniest amount of tint and color. It really feels like they've taken this pop shade right here and liquefied it. It is radiant, it is shimmery, it's multi-dimensional. I'm seeing taupe, I'm seeing warmth, I'm seeing silver, I'm seeing so many different colors that all together, to me, it looks really pretty. Okay, so for this alternative way of wearing it, so I wore it yesterday just on its own. Today I've put down MAC Paint Pot and Paint Truly. It's all over my lid. Then I'm going to place this all over my lid, and then I'm going to go with the Exagger-eyes palette to kind of just bring it all together. After applying the cream shadow on my lid, I took a clean, fluffy blending brush to blend it all out. So I have to say, already on its own, I like Exagger-eyes Eyes to Mesmerize better with MAC Paint Pot and Paint Truly underneath. Now, Paint Pot, that could be a concealer, but really what I just find is that there's not a ton of coverage in the Exagger-eyes Eyes to Mesmerize, and that by just kind of putting something underneath there to sort of smooth out all the colors in my eyelid and the, like, you know, just kind of cover all that up, it looks already so much more polished. But we're going to bring it to that next level. So we're going to use the palette. I'm going to start with this shade here in my crease, just really lightly, just to get a little more definition. Using the same brush, I'm going to go in with the matte shade. Pop on some eyeliner. Again, I'm using Essence/Princess as I tested out. Now, when I ordered this eyeshadow, I didn't want to read the description. I didn't want anything to sort of cloud or maybe influence the way that I would try this product. I really wanted it to be my honest first impressions. So when I ordered this eyeshadow, I was imagining sort of this golden taupe shade up here in her usual sort of more pigmented Eyes to Mesmerize formula. That's what I was picturing. And when I applied it for the first time, all I could think is this is like a liquefied pop shadow. So it really is more this shadow here, but as a cream. And what I found interesting is after applying the eyeshadow, I went back and I read Charlotte's description, so let's read that again. Darlings, I know how much you all love my best-selling Bigger, Brighter Eyes luxury palette in Exagger-eyes. I do. I love that palette. I'm always recommending it. Now I've bottled the same shimmering nudie gold pop shade into my award-winning Eyes to Mesmerize formula to give everyone wider, brighter, huge-looking eyes. Wear alone or on top of a powder eyeshadow for a dazzling pop of color. Okay, so I was right. This is a liquefied pop shadow. And to me, that makes everything about it make more sense. So this is really shimmer suspended in the lightest pigment. It's just like her pop shadows. It is just shimmer suspended in the tiniest amount of pigment. So if you're looking for coverage, you know, especially I find on my eyelids, you know, I've got veins and discoloration and, you know, all those things that normal humans have on their eyelids. I have all of those things. And so I find when I'm doing my makeup, I really like to go in with my MAC Paint Pot and Paint Really, which is basically just I think of it as something between a concealer and an eyeshadow primer. What I love the most about it is it kind of covers up all of that discoloration, gives me a blank canvas to start with. So I think that if you want to use this on your own, I mean, obviously people can do what they want. My recommendation, if you are going to use this on your own and you have the same concerns I do, is to put that sort of concealer type product down first and then go in with this on top. Because when you go with it on top, it is so, so pretty. Now, I know Charlotte did say you can wear it on top of your eyeshadow. And I did kind of just experiment late last night. I just did a really quick, like, Exagger-eyes, like one eye, and I tapped this product on top. I used my finger. So I did put it just on top, and it was really similar to the pop shade, just better, right? I don't really like her old pop formula because I just find that it gets hard pan really easily. It's, you know, I end up having to use my fingers because it doesn't pick up well on a brush. So it was like that, but better. But my favorite way of all the ways I've tried wearing it is the way I'm wearing it today. So I've used it as the base, but then I went in with some of the shades from Exagger-eyes from the original palette, and I just kind of added some definition. I think that's my favorite way to wear it. Overall, this is a new formula from Charlotte, so it wasn't exactly what I expected, but that's not a bad thing. But Charlotte, like, if you wanted to make this shade right here into a Eyes to Mesmerize, I would appreciate it. So here we have the Charlotte Tilbury Exagger-eyes Eyeshadow Quad. We've got all 4 shades here. Now I definitely thought that it would be in large, this shade here that they would use as the basis for the Eyes to Mesmerize formula. But it was actually pop. It is definitely a liquidized pop. So I've added 2 swatches of the Eyes to Mesmerize, and you can see the similarity between these. Let me just grab a little bit of this to kind of blend in underneath there. You can see it is virtually an exact match. Okay, so here I've swatched a whole bunch of different Eyes to Mesmerize in some different formulas. So that way we can take a look at the Exagger-eyes formula and what makes it unique. So all of these are Eyes to Mesmerize except for this one over here, which we're going to talk about later. Across the board, what I've done is 1 brush swatch, and then I've taken another sort of softer brush swatch, but really blended it out so you can see what it kind of looks like actually on the eye rather than all thick and on its own. So going from left to right, again, we are leaving out this shade for a moment. We have Exagger-eyes, Jean, which is now known as Champagne, Pillow Talk, Marie Antoinette, which is now known as Oyster Pearl, Golden Eclipse, and then we have the Matte Eyes to Mesmerize in Flawless Beige. Now, of all of the single shadows that Charlotte has released in the vaguely what I'm going to call cream family, I actually think that Exagger-eyes has the most in common over here, and this is the Pillow Talk Jewel Pop. So very quickly, this is the packaging for the Jewel Pop, and this is what it looks like inside. It is a powder shadow, but it really has a creaminess to it that most of her powder shadows do not. This one I think is a really unique formula for Charlotte. Now, of the Eyes to Mesmerize formulas, I actually think has the most in common with Golden Eclipse. But even then, across the board, save for Exagger-eyes, the Eyes to Mesmerize is traditionally a little bit more of a sort of a satin veering into metallic formula. So much more coverage, definitely not a sheer product, something that really packs a punch. Now, of course, we're also going to discount the matte Eyes to Mesmerize. I have a review on those. You can watch them. I hate the formula. I think it's one of the worst products Charlotte's ever made. But as we get back over here to Exagger-eyes, we see that it is so much more sheer. We see that it doesn't have that satin metallic finish to it. It really is just shimmer floating in just a slightly pigmented sort of cream base. So I'm going to move a little over here. And you can just see just the difference in the finish. So I definitely think this is a new formula, a new finish from Charlotte. I'm excited to see what other pop shadows that she decides to recreate, because I find her pop formula in the powder kind of hard to work with, and I would love to see more of these. So anyways, we've seen the swatches. You've seen it's different from her other formulas. Thankfully, much, much better than the matte formula. I think it's beautiful. I think it's shimmering. I think it makes my eyes look wide and awake. And I just love kind of a sheer nudie wash. So overall, I'm really, really happy with this. I hope you found this video helpful. I hope you found the 2 demonstrations and the swatches useful. If you haven't already, please subscribe, because we talk about Charlotte Tilbury all the time here. I'm going to leave a playlist link down below that has over 50 videos dedicated to Charlotte Tilbury. One I would definitely recommend you watch is ranking all of my Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadow quads, because spoiler alert, Exagger-eyes comes in near the top. So I hope this is the first of many Exagger-eyes expanded universe products. I think Pillow Talk has had a lot of attention, and I think it's time to share some of that love, maybe with some of the other color families within Charlotte. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Bye. Mwah.